But yeah,
Colin?
hit a button.
With that, let me ask you this.
It worked.
I like it. I'm here for it. So, yes, let me ask you this. The question, as I have it written, we talked again last week and this week privately about the Seattle Unions because it came up on Breaking Points, right?
Yes.
So why do you think, because we discussed last week or last episode, maybe the last 2 episodes, doesn't matter, that the idea that not every job is supposed to provide you everything you need, because some jobs, it feels, I don't know, some jobs are more meant for younger people. Some jobs are meant for people who are going to have roommates, who are not trying to support an entire family off of a Starbucks job or off of whatever job, off of things like that. So why do you think that people in America, I don't know about other countries, other Western countries, are so unhappy or unable to see the comparative value in their jobs to other jobs or to, I don't know, other places in the world, that...
I think I know what you're getting at.
Do you understand?
Yeah, I think so.
I didn't get to write it out, so I did not get to word this perfectly the way that I want, but I'm glad you understand the essence of my question.
Because I think the essence of the question really boils down to, this, I think, misconstrued expectation that society has, again, to having a job and only a job, and then everything that you need to support your life should be funded by one job, regardless of what that is. Everything should have a living wage, if you will. And I think that's just it's just a blatant misunderstanding of how economics works, how the job market works, and how overall society has historically functioned over a period of time. And I think why we've gotten to this point is because, much like the reasoning behind needing to take out school loan debt, it's just been force-fed and propagated and propagandized that this is the way things should be, for no other reason than it should be that way. It's not how it ought to be, it's how it should be. And so I think that's probably why we live in this world now where everybody feels like you tell me that we are not the most, quote unquote, deserving culture that has ever existed in the history of modern day, contemporary, humankind. Everybody feels like they deserve something, if not everything. And yeah, I think the generations that are getting these lower paying jobs now have been raised with expectations that all you need to do is get a job, and that's fine. You can go back to the industrial days, that kind of stereotypical, you go get a job at a factory, you work there for 50 years, then you get the gold watch and you retire. That was a markedly different world at that point. The market functioned differently, the job market functioned differently, and there was nothing to say that you could necessarily provide for all of your needs with a single job at first, but you would get a job, you'd still be living with your parents, and then one day you'd buy a house for, $25,000 or a car for $2,000.
Right.
But, market forces in play and the government and institutional fuckery that has gone on in our economy these days has made it damn near impossible for anybody to do that.
And I don't know. I just started thinking about this. There's a disparity in... Not disparity. Not all jobs are worth $21 an hour.
Hard no.
Right? But people, even though there's what I'm sure having a difficult time parsing out right now, because there's a push from the left for people to not find value in their work. That there's other things in your life that gives you value, so you don't need to find value in that. But the argument for making $15 an hour, $20 an hour is also that you are worth more than whatever that thing is, right? But the amount that you're being paid is not your worth as a person, it's what that job is worth, right? So that's why some jobs are only worth $5 an hour if it's a very simple job, like fucking, I don't know, shelling peanuts or something like that, right? That's a very low-skilled job. You could literally teach anyone to do that. A child could do that. So if it's not worth $21 an hour if you're going to pay someone to shell peanuts, right? It's worth $5 an hour because it's a very simple thing, and you could do it less effectively by just smashing them with your fucking fist and then shaking everything out. So
Well, and I think a good way to add on to that, right, is a lot of these jobs, like the shelling peanuts or the flipping burgers, if you will, they only exist to offer somebody a wage like they do because of the giant industrialized machine that has been built up around that industry to offer that product at a specific low price point due to its operation at scale as a whole.
Right.
If you were to take a single McDonald's and try to source all the ingredients, all the materials, all the equipment, and everything that needs to happen to make that burger, and to make that whole menu, to do the whole thing, and then be able to pay your employees what it is that they get paid just for standing there pressing buttons, you would not be able to do that unless you were a giant mega corporation that has been built up over decades and decades and decades.
It's only because their general costs are so low that they can afford to pay their employees what they're paying them. That's what,
100%. 100%. I mean, look at any mom and pop shop restaurant.
Right.
You know, a small time, like the burger joint we have downtown. You've been there before, right?
Yes.
It's fucking fire. But they're not making that kind of money. They don't make McDonald's money. I mean, I'm sure they do all right, but I mean, they also have a food truck that goes out to make, you know, more business happen and all that. They're not. You don't make a burger restaurant and then make millions of dollars like McDonald's does. That's just not how that works. If they were to spend decades and decades expanding and building out the infrastructure and refining their supply lines to include like the specific ingredients and suppliers for those ingredients and so on and so forth to get the lowest cost you possibly can, yeah, you could do that. But you can't do that on just a normal operational scale.
Right.
Which is kind of why these people that work for like McDonald's, they can technically demand a higher wage than the worth of the product that they put out because the company is of such a size that all of their wages are massively they're not bloated, they're not overblown,
inflated.
but they're inflated, yeah, to what that position would entail. I mean, I think we've seen that as more calls for higher wages and stuff like that have essentially forced less employees in the actual stores themselves being replaced with more automated systems and things like that.
Burger robots, the burger flipping robots.
Yeah, the burger
like, this
robots.
shit is too damn productive.
Yeah.
We got to turn it off.
Or like the ones that don't have anybody for you to go order at the thing. You just go over to the kiosk at the thing, and then there's a couple people back there that put it all together, and boom, does the thing. But like, that's way cheaper. After probably a year, the thing probably pays for itself and then some. Yeah. And then you don't have to worry about the employees' wages. You don't have to worry about them showing up on time or
you
not.
You never have to pay the robot more.
Exactly. And so, yeah, I think it's a big disconnect because, unfortunately, like I said, they do have a point because they're not really needed. Amazon warehouse workers aren't needed for Amazon to exist, and they would make a hell of a lot more money if they didn't have those workers there. If the minute there's like a reliable, automated, driverless car, I think I can do a pick and pull robot, no problem. Absolutely, they can do that right now.
Yeah.
They just don't because, for reasons. The ESG score would go way down, or it would go way up. But we'll get into that later. Hey everybody, Colin here from Salt of the Streets. Thank you for watching today's edition of Salty Shorts. If you liked what you saw, please be sure to check out the full episode right here on the Salt of the Streets YouTube channel. Please give us a like, comment, subscribe, and be sure to share this with all your friends. And you too can become a spreader of the message of liberty. Thanks.
Welcome to the Salt of the Streets, coming at you every week with the